A day actually when neither home advantage nor Premier League status would account for much. At Bramall Lane, Burnley in yellow and Adrian Heath provided early evidence of that. Heath, twice a cup finalist in his Everton days, and today promised to be just as exciting for him. Alan Kelly and Paul Beasley certainly helped. A back header memorable only for Burnley and Adrian Heath. So 2-0, and that's how it stayed until the last 10 minutes. United had already hit the woodwork. The Burnley defence retreated, and this time Glyn Hodges took his chance. So to a frantic finale. Too frantic for some, notably the two Adrians. Heath and Littlejohn missed the last few minutes after this scrap. Referee Roger Wiseman really had little alternative. But still there was time for United, and Brian Dean's flick on and Paul Beasley saved Premier League blushes, at least until the replay in 10 days' time at Turf Moor. A similar story without the fists at Elland Road. Charlton's Gary Nelson eventually found the way past John Lukic, and Leeds had 20 minutes left to produce an equaliser. They took two. A cross from Gordon Strachan OBE, Gary Speed's header. Leeds used to find goals like that so easy to produce. And Strachan again surely creating the winner for Tony Dorigo. But watch Scott Minto's clearance as he lay injured in the goal mouth. Leeds totally frustrated. Manchester City found trouble just moments before half-time, coming up a shot that second division strikers dream of on FA Cup day. And Scott Taylor was only playing because of injuries and suspensions. But a deserved equaliser from City, owing much to Gary Flitcroft, a through ball to Mike Sherrin, a goal that enhanced both their reputations. City mightily relieved. Oldham used to be giant killers themselves. That was Tranmere's intended role today, and they got a marvellous start at Boundary Park. FA Cup penalty misses for John Aldridge a history these days. It got worse for Oldham 2 minutes later as well. Morris's cross, and how many Pat Nevin headers have found the net over the years. The Premier League side have retrieved such scorelines before though, and a 2-goal lead was flattering to Tranmere. 10 minutes into the second half and Ian Olney had begun the fight back. Time for the Norwegian Gunnar Halle, quite at home in Arctic Oldham today and twice involved in the move that led to the equaliser. Eventually it was Paul Bernard making it 2-all. Tranmere's afternoon really spoilt by John Aldridge's sending off for allegedly stamping on an Oldham player, but a replay to relish coming up at Prenton Park. Even at Blackburn, a shock had seemed possible when FN Ikoku, once of Sutton United, gave Bournemouth the lead. Ikoku playing his first game for 7 months. But from Mike Newell's cross, the equaliser from Stuart Ripley, and Ripley's growing reputation in no way harmed today. Mind you, his and Blackburn's second was to infuriate Vince Bartram in the Bournemouth goal. 2-1 became 3-1 before the end. Roy Wegerle found Mike Newell, the linesman's flag stayed down, and one FA Cup dream, Bournemouth's, was definitely over.
Now, who do you think is going to win the Cup this year? Well, this year, Gary has gone for
Leeds.
Ron Atkinson versus Malcolm Allison, first blood to Big Ron thanks to Neil Cox's volley. And when Dwight York was tripped by Steve Yates, another Cup dream was surely over. But Dean Saunders' penalty proved less than deadly for Gavin Kelly, and Rovers found new hope. Marcus Browning, born in Bristol, had scored just a single goal for the club before today. I'll never forget this one, he said afterwards. As for Big Mal and Big Ron...
I haven't seen him. The only time I saw him was in the dugout there. And he was shrinking, he was getting smaller and smaller.
Malcolm, what's happened to you? There's no fedora, there's no cigar.
Well, I can't afford them these days.
Newcastle found their best form at St James's Park after a half-time lecture from manager Kevin Keegan. Gavin Peacock's goal the first consequence. Port Vale had promised much early on, but Newcastle were now rampant. Liam O'Brien, so often a key figure for them, set up Peacock again. 2-0 and worse to come for Vale. The ball forward may have been optimistic, but Peter Swan outsmarted by Robert Lee. Almost 30,000 people were willing what happened next. 3 goals in quarter of an hour and 4 goals in half an hour as Newcastle swept forward again. Vale keeper Musselwhite denied Peacock his hat-trick, but not Kevin Sheedy his goal. We were superb in the second half, said Kevin Keegan, and they were.
Reading took the lead midway through.